Thursday VIP call. And today we have something completely out of the books, right? Which is like the running gag probably here today because, as we have mostly land people here, I came over a really interesting contact. I don't even know how we got connected, but we were on a call and I said, like, what you do, like everyone needs to know about. And I don't know if you're like me and feel guilty of not doing your books or doing them like desperately, like 2 days before deadline, desperately getting them over to your CPA. That he files then the tax return, or you even do it late and use your extension each year. But for that reason, I invited Suzy St.Andre today. She is a bookkeeper. She's specialized in working with real estate investors. She's specialized in working with land investors. And I can't wait to give like all the wisdom here and let her share all her wisdom she knows. And Suzy, welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, absolutely. Suzy, the people don't know you yet, probably. Some of them know you. I know you work with some land investors. Tell us a little bit, who are you? What do you do? Tell us a little about yourself.
Sure. I'm Susie, and I work with a company called Stressless Bookkeeping. And I think that just says it right in the name there. And we want you to have less stress about your books. Um, we're that's what we do. We're good at it. We enjoy doing it, which most other people don't. So we're a little bit unique there. But what makes us unique for you is that we specialize in real estate investment companies and land investors specifically. There are a lot of people out there that say, yeah, we work with real estate. Well, most often they're working with realtors and all they're doing is recording commission checks, and it's just income. Whereas those of you that are dealing with land or real estate, you've got HUD statements and you've got closing statements and you've got expenses and you've got escrow accounts and you've got earnest money. And a lot of our land investors are owner financing, and so you've got notes. And are you doing simple interest or APY? Are you taking advantage of the installment loan method for your tax credits? And all of that is what we do. And not only that, but my partner and I, we invest in real estate as well. So we know your transactions, not only from a theoretical standpoint, but from a true, we've done it, we've been there standpoint. So we know what you're going through. We know what it's like to raise capital. We know what it's like to, be at the fifth that final hour and needing to close a property. We know what it's like to need your financial statements at the last second for an investor that's going to help fund your projects. And so that's what makes us unique and gives you an advantage to using us over another company.
Absolutely. So bring us a little bit up to speed. Like when like I think we had already CPAs here and they were talking about tech strategies. Like
Yep. We don't
when
do tax.
I know, like, but when you
We
get
don't do.
like, and
I
you,
don't like them.
we don't like them. Yeah, I could see that. So what, like, you have, like, come on, I pick Wally here. Like, if Wally reaching out, he's a new client. Like, let's say Wally has never done his books. Of course, Wally has all his books on Fleek. I know that, right?
Yeah.
But like, Wally reaches out and says, Susie, this is what it is. What are the
Yeah.
common things that you find that are not working? For land investors, like, where's like the most common things that they don't see?
Yeah. Well, so first of all, our clients, they they don't enjoy doing their books, and they don't enjoy, keeping it up to date. And it's heavy and it's hard and you have to, like, force yourself to do it. So that's the first thing is we take that off your plate because we like it and we're good at it. So you doing your books is not the highest and best use of your time. You need to be out finding land, making deals, closing stuff, doing why you're doing your business is because those are the things you enjoy and not doing your books. Um, and so really that's the number one thing that our clients are doing wrong is they're trying to do it themselves. And so, we're the experts in it. We know what you need to record. We know how to set up your chart of accounts. We know, how to leverage the different real estate tax laws that there are to get you your best return. Um, so handing that over is the best thing that you can do for your business. So then when we're speaking with a new client, we look at a bunch of different things like, what are your pain points? What do you want to get off your plate? What do you have going on and what do you want to achieve? And then we really mold what we do for you around your business individually. It's not cookie cutter. No one's business is cookie cutter. No one's doing the same thing or the same types of deals 100%. So what we do for you is really tailored to you and your business and what you want to achieve.
That makes total sense. So, um, you know, in land investing, I think it's such a special field because we deal with a lot of stuff like others are not dealing with. And what I'm really thinking about is like um, the whole owner finance situation, for example, right? Like I see that that's a question I get frequently. Oh, when I sell that on owner finance, don't I get taxed, right? Like,
Yeah.
how's that rolling, right? Like, give us a little bit, like that's a question I really get frequently. Get us a little bit into the picture, like owner finance, like take the curtain off. Like, what does it mean? How do I
Yeah.
need to book it? Like that I
Yeah.
don't get taxed, right? Like, bring
Yeah.
us a little bit into that.
Well, what a lot of people do is they don't know what they don't know. So a lot of people are using either a simple interest or they're amortizing loans. And so what's happening is when you close a deal, say it's $100,000 deal and you're doing an $80,000 carryback, if you are doing it using simple interest or an APY or amortizing the note, you're recognizing or saying, I'm getting $100,000 in revenue when you're not really getting it. So, what a lot of our land investors are doing is doing what's called installment loan method. So many people don't know about it because it's usually like a Boeing, like you're buying $1 billion plane, and Boeing doesn't want to recognize $1 billion in revenue right away because they're not getting $1 billion in revenue on day one. They're getting it month over 20, 30 years. So we do the same thing with owner finance notes with land. Now, there are a few key criteria that you have to do in order to be able to use an installment loan method. And it's very simple as they say it has to be a 0% interest loan. Okay, well, I'm going to sell you this piece of land for $120,000, or if you pay cash up front, it's $100,000. So that $20,000 difference is the interest, right? So you've just built it into the sale price. Plus the guy that thinks that the guy that's paying cash thinks that they're getting a cash discount on the land. Okay. So then behind the scenes, what we do is that every month when that payment is made, we recognize just the revenue for that payment, and we recognize a percentage of the cost based on this formula that we use, of the original cost of the property every month with the amount of revenue that's recognized. So then at the end of the year, you're getting really a true, this is my revenue, these are my expenses, and this is my tax liability. And then you have month over month, you've got income coming in, paying your bills, paying your overhead, all that kind of stuff. Now, yes, we love the cash buyers because you get that lump sum, but having that month over month revenue for overhead and expenses is kind of nice too.
Yeah, yeah, I can see that. So other than that, like, what do you think are like the things that people are getting wrong? Like, I mean, you take over the books from somewhere and then you're seeing like, okay, we need to change this, this, and this. Like, what are the most common
Yeah.
things people are missing? Let's talk about that.
Um, well, what we find a lot is that we're doing a lot of cleanup on closing statements. to get the expenses in the right places. Um, you know, a lot of times, like the land isn't being recorded in your as an asset properly. That when you sell the land, then you're not the original cost of the land isn't getting recognized because the person doing the books just forgot that it's in inventory. And so then you've got revenue without an expense to offset it. Um,
Which is always bad, right? Getting taxed
yes,
on the sales amount and not getting the deduction
the
for the
offset of the
purchase,
cost.
right?
Yeah, exactly, exactly. And then really, to be honest, what we see a lot is just it's just your books aren't current. There may be 300 transactions in your bank feeds that haven't been categorized. So then you as a business owner just really don't know where you're at. You don't know what your cash position is. You don't know what your expenses are. So maybe you're not you're under valuing your property, or you're not selling it for enough to cover all your expenses because it's hidden in your bank fees. You think, oh, I bought it for $20,000 and I'm going to sell it for 40, but you have $13,000 in closing costs that aren't getting, recorded properly, or you have marketing expenses, or, other overhead. You've got your staff that you're paying to dispose of it, or, market it, and you're not including that in with your expenses. So then at the end of the day, you're at a loss instead of, making money.
Mhm. Let's talk a little bit about the employee situation. I mean, a bunch of us run with VAs, so people in different countries and different time zones and different schedules and all that. How do you do that? Because I know, like, we were always running with a lot of VAs, like in the past. It's all AI, but like, like a lot of people run with VAs, and then you have people sitting in Bangladesh and Philippines and where are the things we're missing out? Like how I guess my question is two-sided. Like, first of all, how should we book that? Second of all, what are your pro tips on, I have a guy like Musaf, for example. Musaf, can I say that? He's in Bangladesh, right? Like, and it's always a pain in the ass to pay him there, right? Like, we need to go through certain things and certain things. And it costs me like probably 10 minutes just like to get him paid, right? How can you streamline that process? Pakistan. I'm so sorry, Musaf. It's Pakistan, right? Yeah, somewhere over there from here. And I know you have some smart solutions for that in place.
Yeah, so I mean, we use VAs too in our business. So, we have people that are doing data entry for us that, there's skills in our business where it's not the highest and best use of my time to sit and do data entry. So we have different payroll platforms that we use. Our preferred one is Gusto because we can pay our US based, our domestic employees, as well as our overseas VAs as contractors. And Gusto makes sure that they collect all of the paperwork that we need before we can actually pay someone. So your 1099 bends for all of your contractors, and they make sure that those are up to date. And if one is needed to be renewed or updated, they take care of it for us. And then it's simply just, when I process payroll on whatever the schedule is, we're just choosing the domestic people, how many hours, it takes care of them. Um, I pop over to contractors, international contractors, put in their amounts, and it takes care of everything for us. And then Gusto takes care of all of the end of the year reporting, so you don't have to do your W-2s and 1099s and all that kind of stuff. It's all pre-programmed in, and each person self-onboards themselves. So when you have a new VA or a new employee that you're going to add on, we just check the boxes on what type of employee they are, and then they get the right set of paperwork to complete themselves, and everything's done for you. It's very automated and it's very nice.
that makes sense, Gus. So like, I know you have an affiliate link. Just drop it here, right, for everyone that's interested in that. I signed up, and I haven't set it up yet, but I looked over it, and I think it's freaking amazing.
Yeah.
And doing payroll in a couple of minutes, then sitting there for 2 hours was probably like a really good thing for everyone, right? So tell us a little bit, how does working with you work? Like, do people need a QuickBooks account? How do you do receipts? Like tell us a little bit about that. Like how does that look like?
So QuickBooks is our preferred platform, and we like it because QuickBooks Online is live. So I can log into it, you can log into it, we can be working in it at the same time, or you can pull it up on your phone and look at it and see what's going on at any point in time. Do they have to have QuickBooks? No, but we need to have some sort of online program, and that could be Xero, it could be Wave, could be QuickBooks. We work with multiple different platforms. So then everything's linked. It's linked to your bank accounts, so the everything comes in through the bank feeds, credit cards, all that kind of stuff. From a security standpoint, we do like to have logins to your bank account, but you give us a third party login and you get to choose what we see. So at a minimum, we need to be able to access your statements so we don't have to ask you for them every month so that we can download and do your monthly reconciliations. We need to be able to see check and deposit images so that if you write a physical check or send a physical check or you receive a physical check from someone, we can just go in there and click on the picture. So again, we don't need to bother you with that information. We're going to take as much off your plate as we possibly can. But because it's a third party view only access, there's no security risk there, right? For receipts, like if you're the best, most correct way to have your expenses is if you go take a client out to dinner and you want a physical receipt, you know, write on it who you had dinner with, and you need to get that to us. We have a couple different ways to do it. QuickBooks has a receipt section that you just open your app and take a picture of it, and it's there for us when we do it. Or we have a platform called Dext or Receipt Bank. It used to be called Receipt Bank, that we use, and you would have an app that again you just take a picture of. Or if you're getting PDFs or images in your email, you set up a rule in your email that forwards the expense right to your Dext account, and then we get those each month, and everything gets attached to your transactions, and you're audit proof at that point.
That's amazing. So we don't have any stress with our books anymore, right?
That's
So there,
correct.
there will be some mad people that say, you know, I love doing my books, right? What would you recommend them to do? Like, how should I run the books by myself? Let's do a little bit of education, like from the pro
Yeah.
bookkeeper here. How can you run books by yourself?
You can do it yourself. You can do it yourself. And I recommend a platform like QuickBooks, Wave, or Xero, right? Get it connected to your bank. You know, you're going to have to make time, you know, so we touch your books once a week. And I really recommend that for anyone doing your stuff. So do you have time once a week for half an hour to an hour to touch your stuff? If you do, great, you can do it. We can help you get your chart of accounts and everything set up for you on a one-time fee, so that the framework is there for you to use. We do that as well. But we do find that once people start working with us, they're very happy to be focused on their funnel of deals rather than their books. So like I said, we're going to touch your books once a week when we do it. You're going to get an email update from us once a week, and you're going to get one email that says, everything's good, have a great week, or we've updated your stuff and we have these 4 questions. So you're not going to get peppered with emails from us all over the place that now you've got all this white noise that you have to pay attention to. At the end of the month, we're going to do all your reconciliations. We're going to send you your financial statements that you can review or just have on hand in case you need them for a bank or a fund lender or an investor or whatever. Quarterly, we're going to do a 1099 audit for you. So if you've got 1099 contractors that you're working with, we're going to make sure you've got all your W-9s so we're ready by the end of the year. And then at the end of the year, we're going to file those 1099s for you. And then we're going to have your books ready by the end of January for your CPA to file for the March deadline so you don't have to extend, which is all of that off of your plate so that you can focus on doing deals. I love reading books or listening to books now with Audible. So like Traction was one that really kind of hit home in a lot of places for me. And that's why like you highest and best use of your time. Like how much money per hour should you or do you want to make? And if you want to be making $200-300 an hour, then you shouldn't be spending money on a $20-30 an hour task like doing your books. Um, and then also like the quadrants of Traction, like I'm good at it and I love doing it. I'm good at it, but I don't enjoy doing it. I'm not so good, but I love it. And I'm not good and I don't enjoy doing it. If doing your books is in this bottom right quadrant, then you need to find someone to do it for you because it's not going to be fun.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, how do you see the bookkeeping space changing for businesses like us through AI? I mean, it's a big topic right now everywhere, right? And you see that popping up everywhere. Like, how's it helping you maybe meanwhile? But how is it also like maybe replacing you or not? Like, let's talk
Like
a little bit
having your
about
books
that
done
part.
by AI for $100 a month. That is
Yeah.
scary for me, and especially for land investors. I mean, it's scary from one perspective for me, and I am hesitant because AI is only good as the information you provide it. So then the question in the back of my mind is, are we open sourcing our financial information? And should we be? So I'm a little hesitant on that from that perspective. Um, from a real estate investor perspective, you have HUD statements that you're dealing with on your closing. I mean, is AI really doing categorizing all of that stuff correctly? Can they read it? Does it understand it? So far, we're finding that even the QuickBooks bank feeds makes errors all the time in trying to pre-categorize things for you. Like we have clients that have rental properties. Um, so they may have like an LLC per rental property, right? For liability and asset protection. Well, we don't do a QuickBooks file for every single property, right? We put them in one and classify them so that we can keep it all separate. We have their stuff comes in through their bank feeds and it wants to code an expense against property A that's clearly for property B. So you need a person to look at that. Like we're not quite there yet. I'm fine. There are things I love about AI and what it's doing. I am a data like a Excel spreadsheet. I love that. I love doing dashboards and things like that. It makes it really quick for me to program my dashboards, right? Because I don't have to sit and map out what my formulas are. I just say, hey, Claude, I want to take this cell and that cell and compare and go to this sheet and do that, enter, and it gives me my formula. That's cool. I'm not quite sold on it for our financial information yet because I don't know how much stuff I want the world to have about my financial information, you know?
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, because I mean, data is like, as soon as like you're processing data with Claude or with OpenAI or whatever, it's like lying on their servers, right? Like this is like a thing. Um, it can be subpoenaed, right? It can be they have it, right? So, and in the very end, like let's say the big companies in the world don't have always our best in mind, right?
Yeah.
So that's what it is too. Yeah, I agree with you, but do you think in the future you see a chance that will be an amazing support for you, that like your thing will like what you do will be more like a review function so you can just like do more in less amount of time? Is that a
I
scenario you're
think
seeing?
it's possible. So, for example, if you take the your owner finance loan notes with installment loan method, right? We have a separate calculator that's used um, to figure out, how that payment gets broken down to recognize everything properly. Um, yes, I think that AI, that there will at some point be something where we can feed that into either QuickBooks or whatever the program is, and it can more intelligently um, take care of that. So if a borrower pays more than their scheduled payment, like it can make the adjustments automatically without us having to do it. If a borrower is late and they have a late fee, and it changes the amount of principal that's applied, right? I think that those kinds of things, yeah, eventually, but right now, it still takes a human to make those adjustments.
Absolutely. How do you see how do CPAs like working with you? How does that work, right? I mean, there's CPAs and bookkeepers. Bring us a little bit in the thing. What do they do? What do you do?
Yeah,
You know, people
our
are asking
CPAs
themselves,
love
why do
us.
I need you? I have a CPA. He's doing that.
Yeah.
Like, tell me a little bit about that.
Well, our CPAs love us because they're getting a very clean package when it's time to file versus having to do extensions and all that kind of stuff. A lot of times, our clients just say they do a warm introduction between us and their CPA, and then they're out of it, right? So, someone who doesn't have to be the ping pong ball in the middle and go, hey, this is what my CPA wants. And we go, okay, here you go. And then they have to like try and understand and interpret and go back and forth. We cut you out as the middleman. You're copying on everything, but we get to work directly with your CPA. And then because we know real estate, your books are and your financial statements are set up in a way that mimics what they need to um, enter onto your tax forms. So it becomes very quick and easy, and it cuts down their time in the work that they're doing to file your taxes for you.
Yeah, that makes sense. That
And
makes
we don't, like
sense.
I said, we don't do taxes, right? So most CPAs don't enjoy doing the books on an ongoing basis, week over week, month over month. We do. We hate doing taxes. We'll give that to your CPA. So it's a really nice symbiotic relationship.
That's really well. Okay, so how can people find you? How can they interact with you? Do you have any kind of link, a booking calendar, something like that?
Yeah, absolutely. So our website is stress-lessbookkeeping.com.
Mhm.
We are on Facebook as well. And then I will grab our Calendly link and put it in the chat for you. The Calendly link gives you a free 1 hour consultation call with us, and we'll just have a chat about your books, what you want to achieve, what we can offer, and see if we're a good fit for each other. And then if we are, then we'll put together a proposal for you. And our proposals are two parts. So a lot of people come to us with some sort of cleanup or catch up that needs to be done. So we'll give you, it's a one-time fee for that. And then your monthly rate is the same month over month. We're not going to bill you hourly. We're going to figure out what it should be based on the activity you have, and it's going to be the same month over month unless your business either skyrockets and takes off and your transactions double, then we reevaluate, or in reverse, you say, I'm downsizing, I'm doing something else, then we can look at it the other way as well. um, and so again, we're taking the stress out of it. You don't have, you know what to expect every month. You know what your expenses are going to be. And so you can plan and budget for it.
I love it. Um, what are the costs for that? Like that, I don't have stress with my books anymore. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. So our monthly minimum is 300 a month, and you get
Mhm.
all of the updates and everything that I've already covered. That's based on transactions. So for us, every transaction we work on is time, whether it's a minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, depending on what it is, monthly reconciliations. So we have an algorithm that we have put together that we basically, if you have QuickBooks already, we're going to take a look at how many transactions on average are going through your account, plug it into our calculator, and then that spits out what your monthly rate is. And we can do payroll for you, we can do invoicing for you, we can pay your bills for you, we file sales tax and other payroll taxes, things like that for our clients. We have clients that hire us to do special projects. Like we have a client that, this is outside of real estate, but they grow produce in Florida in a warehouse. So they can grow the same zucchini over and over and over again. Doesn't matter what the weather's like outside. So we do different projects where we look at their performance, we look at their cash flow, we look at what POS systems they're going to use. If they want to go to a farmer's market, we look at stuff, what's the feasibility of it. For our land investors, we have people that want us to do kind of more fractional CFO stuff. Like, okay, I'm looking at doing this. These are, this is the expenses. This is what I think is going to be the income. Give me your analysis on it, and we'll provide that for them. We also have a lot of people that, if you've heard of Profit First, it's basically takes the income minus expenses equals what you make and flips it on its head and says, this is my revenue, this is how much I want to make, and this is what I have left to spend on my expenses. And so we help implement that as well.
Oh, you're doing profit first too?
Yep.
That's nice.
We're
That's
not, we didn't
nice.
do the certification for it, but I keep up on it and very familiar with it. I just didn't want to pay for their referral. So, but I
That,
love the
that
system and I love the idea of it. So, yeah.
I like that. That's really cool. Susie, I think there was a lot of great information in this. I mean, if you really don't do your books, like I feel there's a bunch of people like guilty of that. Just contact Susie. She will get it away, get the guilt away, and she does it on a reasonable price. And like this would led me to this is she really knows what land investors need, right? She can know installment sale methods. She knows how to put the right stuff in place and in all kinds of places. So, Suzy, let's open it up for a little Q&A. I say thank you for being here and thank you for coming on and sharing what you do. And drop a link in the chat. Feel free for that. Guys, do you have any kind of questions for Suzy here? Then just raise your hand. And I'm like, there was a question in the chat, I think, from Karen. Let me see this. Karen, can you add the website as well? Do you have some cloud skill sets you can share for review? Okay. So we've done that. Claudia. Hey, Claudia, good to see you. Well, that has been a while.
Yes, it has. Yes. I have two questions, actually. First of all, I know you focus on land, but what if we have a second type of business that isn't the same, isn't real estate? For example, a service type business. Are you
Yeah.
able to do that as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have found that us ourselves, right? So our primary business is bookkeeping, but we also invest. And a lot of investors that come to us have another business or are working in something else. So we have clients that work in like kind of healthcare service industry. So they're providing services for troubled youth. We have nonprofits we work with. I mentioned we have the grower in Florida that we work with. We work with contractors, builders, and then another interesting one is we have a client that owns horses and trains horses and riders. So it's more of like a coaching type class,
Yeah.
where they're getting, have packages and all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we also work with service industry like pool cleaners and pest, where you have another like booking system that we're integrating with your QuickBooks for billing and service calls and expenses and things like that. So
Okay, great. And my second question is, when, and this is my situation, so I'm just curious. I'm in a JV that has an entity of its own, and we do not use the same CPAs,
Mhm.
CPA, or any in their case. So how does that, how do you work with that? Was it just 50-50, just take my 50% and whatever that amounts to is just, but and yet it's in the name of that entity is the question.
So it's when you're dealing with land or with an asset, so land or real estate specifically, we take our cues from the HUD. So if you are both on the HUD, you have ownership, right? And so then, yes, we would book your percentage of or your ownership part of that asset. And then if you're, and so then there's different parts and pieces. Like, where's your payment coming from? Is like, are you getting a monthly payment or is it going to be an end lump at the end? So if it's 50-50, it's like we're booking your half of the asset, your half of the revenue, things like that. If you're not on the HUD, then you would be considered an investor. So then you would have, like, if you've put money in the deal, you would have a loan to the other entity for your investment in the deal, right? But you wouldn't have an asset on your books because you're not
I
on the
see.
HUD. So you wouldn't have an ownership percentage, even if you have an agreement where, you would have some sort of agreement separately because there's no asset that you are on the name of on the title. We don't
Right.
book the asset on your
Yeah.
books.
Yeah. Both of us have entities that are the members.
Okay.
So
So
it's
then what we usually do is we recommend that that you have a QuickBooks subscription where you can have classes, right? And so then anything that is related to that entity specific, we class it to those transactions to that entity, and then your CPA can pull it out. And honestly, that's just a cost savings thing because every QuickBooks on like line is like $30 a month.
I know.
So if
Yeah.
you have one, if you have one deal where you've got one transaction a year, you don't
Yeah.
want to pay $30 a month, right?
No. Did that.
So yeah, so that's like what I was talking about with like our investors that have a lot of rental properties, and every property is like 123 Sunshine Avenue LLC and 456 Sunrise, Place. We actually house the financials all in one QuickBooks file, and they're just separated by classes. So then when
Oh.
we pull the reports, we can separate everything out by class,
Mm.
and then the CPA can just take everything from that class and get the information they need for each individual LLC.
So that would apply. Can you do the same thing even if the, say, the second company or the second business, not the JV now, but the second business that is a service business,
Mhm.
uh, I mean, just because what I did was I did have two,
Yeah.
and it wasn't, it was expensive.
Yeah, and we find that that's a really good solution. And every CPA that we pre-clear it with their CPA to make sure that they're on board with us.
Mhm.
And we haven't had a single one that said no, you need to keep it in separate books.
That's great advice right
Yeah,
there.
because I
Thank you.
mean, $30 a year, you're paying $360 for a QuickBooks subscription where you've got you know, maybe half a dozen transactions in some cases per year.
Mhm. Right.
And the important part is just that every transaction has to have a class, and then like you can't have like a generic admin, right? So it would have to be so if you had three businesses, it's business A and can have subclasses, business B can have subclasses, and C can have subclasses. So then everything gets grouped by business.
But each business is a class of its own.
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. That's huge.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That was some really great advice. I didn't know that either, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're very welcome.
Good. Wally raised his hand. I thought, Wally, you have your books in order. I thought that.
Wally's the pro.
Yeah. Your audio is not super good. Maybe you want to keep the mic a little bit closer to your mouth.
Yeah, should be. See what was it? Right, can you hear me?
Yeah, hardly. Like,
Yeah.
Maybe if you type your question in the chat. And Tim,
anyone
I
else?
saw you asked about the QuickBooks online subscription minimum. I think that that allows classes. I think it's $70 a month. If you're working with us or someone else and you don't have QuickBooks already, we can get you a discount for the first year. And then after that, it goes up. So I think for the first year, depending on how we do the discount, it's either I think it's 50% of what the normal fee is, and then after the first year, then it goes up to the regular fee.
Okay. Yeah, I have QuickBooks Pro desktop, from 2020 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm still making that limp along because I don't want to get the subscription, but pretty soon I'm gonna have to.
I was in the same place. I was like a diehard desktop user, and I really liked I could buy the software and then use it for like 3 years, and they supported, updates and things. But I live in a paperless office now and love that. I love not having file cabinets of paper. And for us to work with a client that's on desktop, we have to like have a desktop mirroring, or they have to send us the file back and forth, and it's perpetually someone is not up to date, and then we have a conflict. And so we've embraced the online world.
Yep. Yeah, they don't even let me import bank statements or like CSV files or anything anymore. So it's like,
oh, darn
I'm gonna have to give in.
Yes, you are. Okay, Wally.
They got you by the balls, Tim, right? They got you.
Well, and I figure at some point, I think QuickBooks is going to do away with their desktop version altogether. It's just not, they make more revenue off the online subscription anyway. So, how do you document or code each transaction, all types of expenses? How do you know what's what? So there's two basically main types of expenses. There's expenses that are your business overhead. So, apps and software, your QuickBooks subscription, things like that. Interest you pay on money that you are borrowing, unless it's tied to a specific property. And then there's expenses that are related to the business that you're doing. So you're marketing your land for sale, you're hiring a drone photographer to go and do a whole marketing package for something you're selling. Those are going to be specific to the land that you're selling. So we categorize them like that, and we do that through setting up your chart of accounts. And so there's some very common ones. When you do QuickBooks or Wave or Xero or any of those, they're going to have a framework of chart of accounts that you can use, and you can start there. And then we just, how do we know? Well, we know because we're in your business, like we're in your industry. So we know that GeekPay is a payment processor. We know that Land Pilot is your continuing education. We know that Postcard Mania is for your marketing. We just know what the common systems are, and then we also use Google. So if you have an expense that comes through, we look up who you spent money with and what do they do and what's it for. And if it's something specific like a utility for a property or property tax or whatever, we're going to ask you which property specifically it's for, so we can connect those dots. So then you can pull a P&L by property, so you can see how they perform individually as opposed to your business as a whole. Did that answer your question, Wally?
He's typing. Look how concentrated
I
he
know.
is. It's like, let me get the gist out of there, right? Like,
Yeah.
I think he's good, right?
Claudia, we are all over the place. So we do not have a brick and mortar. All of our staff work 100% remotely. So our staff meetings look like this, where we're all on Zoom together. And so we have staff in all domestic time zones. So Eastern, Central, Mountain, and Pacific. And so we are everywhere. But me currently, you can see my glow. I'm actually in Arizona. It's very hot here right now.
I know Claudia's in Arizona too, right? So
Oh, there we
there's
go.
a
Well, I hear
connection
we're in
there,
for it
right?
next week, Claudia. It's gonna get hot.
All good. Okay, guys. Any other questions for Susie here? Susie, then again, thank you so much for being on here and sharing your wisdom with us. And yeah, if you need a bookkeeper, if you don't have one, or you have one and you don't like him, talk with
Or
Susie,
her.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, or her, right? Then just go ahead, schedule a call with her. I think it's worth it. And yeah, I hope that was a good session for you, and you liked it. And if you need a CPA, I think we have two CPAs here, Tony Dixon and Larry Pendleton. Like check them out. They're in our videos. Like maybe Musaf can link the interviews with them and Susie together can be a full powerhouse for your business. And with that said, I'll let everyone go. We're going to close this out. Thank you so much. Have a blessed Thursday and talk to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.